Welcome back. We are now in January and it is time for the first monthly giveaway from Epic for January. And as always, to get these assets, you get them for free. You go to fab.com, you go and check the carousel here. You make sure to find the one that says limited time free. You go to explore and then there you can find the different assets that you have. In this time, we will be having the Vista modern house environment. We will be having a Parry system. We will be having a modular bakery shop. So to acquire these assets, what you do is you go into one of the assets. You click over here on license. You take a personal or professional license. This license really doesn't matter. If the personal one applies to you at the time of purchasing it, then it's the same as the professional one. So it's just a matter of if you're getting it, which one applies to you. So if you're an individual creator with a small team making no more than 100K of revenue in the last 12 months, then that is all you need. But to be safe, of course, you should always take the professional one and make do with that. This 12-month period as well is something that applies from the time of purchase. So even if you were to make $1 million tomorrow, this would still be applicable to you because this takes into consideration from the 12-month backwards from the time of purchase anyway. So that's how it is being used. So choose the professional one, buy now, and then you have the asset and you can get this for free for the duration of this rotation. And each rotation is 2 weeks long. So it's 2 weeks next Tuesday. Well, next other Tuesday. That's the period that you have to get these assets. Yeah, so let's take a bit of a closer look to see what we got this time around. Okay, first off we have the Parry attack system. You can see here. You can see that the instructions are pretty simple. We have block by holding down right mouse button and parry by holding it, and the current parry window is 35. So essentially what this means is we can hold down our mouse button and that's counting as a block, and we can do a parry by pressing our block, and then for a short period, if an attack hits us, then it's counted as a parry essentially. And then it gives us the instruction that we can press left mouse button to make a finisher. So there are a few different opponents here that we can demonstrate against. So this one can't parry an attack, so we can't execute finishes. Clicking left mouse button does nothing. Doing a click while it's attacking does nothing. This is essentially just an enemy that you're supposed to be able to block and then not take damage from, essentially, I guess. So it's a little bit simple. This is the first character we can actually parry with. So if my reactions are correct, that is what you get as a result. So in this case, you get a sort of reaction in accordance with the parrying. This character shows off a parry with a counter. So if we go in here and we try to parry this attack, then we get the following. So we parry and then we attack the character as a follow-up, just like the instruction says. Parry attack indicator. So this one can't be executed. This one, however, can be parried, but it does have a sort of wind-up, which you tend to have on bosses and stuff like that, and heavy attacks. So you need to wait for the wind up and then you have to sort of parry at the end of it. So let's see if I can actually manage this. And there we go. So that's showing off that. Next we have the finisher characters. So here we can see that one is set as ragdoll false and ragdoll true. So we go up to this one, we click left mouse button, we can see that we do an attack and it has a predetermined animation that it does. It's the same animation every single time. It's not ragdoll. And this one, if we go and attack, we get a ragdoll effect after it dies. So that is in essence what the demonstration shows. I will immediately now show that this is not actually true, because this character over here is supposed to be ragdoll false. If we hit it from the back, it falls over and ragdolls. This is not actually how the system works. It doesn't have ragdoll falls on characters like this. It is something that is set up by the data for the project itself. So let's take a little bit of a look into this. So in this project, what you have is you have the Parry attack system here. You have two different folders, demo assets, which allows you to see things like sound and animations and things like that. And then you have the PAS assets, which contains, among other things, the parry component. And also here you have a hitbox component that handles some other things. So the basics of this is using a data table, you set up parries that have some definitions on them. So in this case, we can see that the reason why the characters that we hit from the back had ragdoll enabled is because this back finisher, as it's named here, uses ragdoll true, while a front finisher has a ragdoll false. So from here you can see that what kind of animations the two parties in this is going to be doing. So the victim and the attacker. The victim and the attacker. So there's like a paired animation system that's set up here. And you can have some parameters set up for this as well. So there are some amount of configurability, I guess. In addition to that, you have a bunch of different structures. You have Parry Notify, which is essentially a notification, an animation notification, which you can set up a bunch of different properties for a parry, and that is how the reactions then will happen based on the data table, essentially. So you can see here it's sending through some interface calls to the victim that you're parrying against, and handling that information, and making spawn emitters if you're supposed to have some visual effects in accordance to this. So that's generally the whole system, and I'm assuming that this is something that has been extrapolated from one of the other assets that this creator has made. And as such is trying probably to like make the smaller parts usable instead of like having the whole expensive system being a requirement to purchase. That part I actually like. Having small modular parts that you can like fit into your project nice and easily, and it works well, that's a good thing. Is this one of those? I'm not so sure. Because at this point we actually end the positivity on this. And we'll start with this. This is the parry attack. So here is the actor component that you put on your character that's supposed to be handling things. And it does things like sending information to the victim that it's supposed to be having a certain amount of collision. It's supposed to be playing a certain montage, which is also from the data table. It says that it should be having a certain value delay, and then applying things like returning movement collision and applying damage. So hard-coded values like these that are not individually configurable and stuff like that. I really don't like it. This is in my case an actor component that is not actually what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be modular, flexible, and usable because it has been extracted from the big project that it's actually part of, right? So this is a disappointment in that regard. But overall, it seems it's like a nice enough system to look at and learn from if maybe there are some components and parts from this that you're interested in using in your project. But the negative parts about this does actually extend beyond the code and the blueprints themselves, because if we go to the Parry system here, it has some nice things. It has a YouTube video. You can go and see a showcase for the system itself. All excellent. It has documentation. The documentation here is neatly packaged. It doesn't have a lot of depth. It's basically the core fundamentals. And since this is not a super complex system, this is like maybe manageable. And products. Next up, we have the modern house. So this asset pack is what you can see here. It is a very high detailed, nice looking interior asset pack that handles a sort of living room, kitchen area for a small but very luxurious apartment. So this by itself seems to be something that is meant for something like, I don't know, ArchViz or something along that nature. So that's probably the intention with this, and as such you can see that the quality is really high detailed and can easily be sold for that kind of purpose, right? So instead of just checking the demonstration level, we're gonna be checking the overview level also, because I feel like the demonstration level doesn't actually do it justice. If we go to the this demonstration level here, no, not the demonstration, the overview level, you can see that these are the assets that it consists of. So you have a very rudimentary sort of exterior house, some interior walls for the apartment itself, and then you have the different parts inside of the apartment itself. And you can see that there is, considering the small space that our apartment took up, there are quite a lot of different parts included in this. And you can see that there are drawers that are individual, so you can shovel them in and out if you want to open them as such. So you can see that all the different parts in this, quite extensive. So for such a small little project, quite impressive amounts of knickknacks you actually get inside of it. So pretty nice, pretty straightforward, and that's that. Lastly, we have the modular bakery shop. The modular part is a mischaracterization. This is simply a bakery shop asset pack. There's nothing modular about this. But this is essentially the demonstration level for it. So you can see that we have a very nice looking, high quality bakery with different kinds of goods. Let's actually keep it in play mode so you can see all the kinds of different small things that we have available in this store. It's all very neat, very high quality, very nice looking, very cohesive, and a very nice little cafe area essentially. So all in all, pretty straightforward again, pretty small, pretty neat, pretty nice. And again, if we were to look at the showcase level, which is the sort of overview level for the map or the contents of it, you can see that we have a fair amount of assets available in this asset pack as well. Not as much as the prior one, of course, but for the small size that it is, at least. Now, as in closing words, again, we're getting pretty small packs, which is understandable. The pricing a little bit too high for what they are, in my opinion. The quality of the blueprint assets we got this time around, atrocious considering the behavior that they have. So yeah, this time around maybe a little bit better than last time. Hopefully we'll see a change in the quality. I would rather like to see fewer assets of higher quality, but I believe that this is a time that has passed us, because how the monetization system for the people that petition their asset packs to be candidates for this free for the month, it is not really viable unless it's an asset that isn't actually selling by itself. So I think this is the kind of assets that we will be getting in the future as well. So that's probably something that we have to get used to and sort of like accept, I guess. Anyway, I hope that this small overview has been useful to you. Keep on learning. Take care. A big thank you to all of you who like, comment, subscribe and share my videos, or through other means support this channel. You are what makes this channel grow and become a resource for other people to learn from.